Hey everybody, it's Julie from A Beautiful Horizon, and today we're talking about ways to get through a rough homeschool day. I have been a homeschool mama for like 5 years now, I think. I have a 9-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old, so we are, just chugging along here and taking it year by year. But we've had some rough days and we've made it through them so far. So I thought I would share some things that I do when we're just having a rough day. So number one, this might sound funny, but you know how when your baby is crying, you're like, okay, are they hungry? Are they tired? Are they, needing to get some energy out? Well, those are the types of things that I have to think about with my homeschool day as well. Are my kids hungry? Because if they're hungry, they're hangry. And we might need a break for a snack or even a meal. Like sometimes you get caught up in something, you don't realize, oh, it's lunchtime now. Put a reminder on your phone. That helps. That helps me sometimes. But so are they hungry? Maybe they need to get some energy out. Have they had some sunshine today and some fresh air? If that's not possible, is there something they can do inside to get some energy out? Is there, like a relay race we can play in the whitest part of our house or something? Somehow, are they able to do some jumping jacks and jump in place and call it BE or something? That is really important. And then, are they tired? Like, is our bedtime routine a little crazy right now? Is that why we're struggling today? And how can we address that? How can we fix that issue? That can help you for the long term. If you address it right away, it can help you in the days to come. So those are some things, and you can kind of think along those lines. If there's something else that's like, a normal everyday thing that's off, like that could be the cause of the problem. So check into that. So sometimes they've got their basic needs met and they're still a little grouchy. And sometimes I just like to get silly. And this might be a personality thing for me, and it might not be your style or whatever. So do what works for you. But for me, sometimes I just like to get up in their face and just make a silly face, or maybe have an accent or something that I use while I'm explaining a problem to them. But when I get silly, it helps everybody just to have the mood a little lighter and a little happier. And then I can get serious and be like, hey, we're on the same team. We got to get through this, but we can do it. I know you can do it. And kind of move from there, but kind of just break that whole like stressful tension in the air. You know what I'm talking about, when it's just a little tight, a little tense. Just break that up with laughter and just silliness, and kind of bring it back to the point that it doesn't have to be quite so, I don't know, serious all the time. I think conveying the point that you're on the same team can be important. Sometimes they need a pep talk. Sometimes I have to explain that I am here to teach you so that in life you'll have the tools that you need to do what you want to do, and not have somebody else telling you what to do all the time, because at this point you'll be able to be self-governed, or you'll have self-control, and you'll have the knowledge that you need so that no one can cheat you. If you're supposed to be paid for 5 hours and somebody only pays you for 3, how are you supposed to know if you don't know what 5 minus 3 is, if they're cheating you on your money? And so just kind of bringing it back to, why are we doing this? And just kind of bringing out your mission statement, so to speak, even if it's not like written out all flowery, but just in your head. Why are we doing this? And how is it going to help you? And this has a point. Sometimes it just feels like, oh, this is just ridiculous. It's repetitive. What's the point? So maybe sometimes addressing, this is the point. This is why we're doing it. And I'm teaching you and taking the time out of my day because I love you and I believe in you. And just giving that sort of like, okay, let's refocus. Why are we doing this? Why are we here? And I believe in you. You can do it. We're going to do this together. We're a team. And moving on from there, where you're like back on the same side instead of like against each other. That can help us to kind of like, okay, now we're gonna get through this and we're gonna move forward because there's a purpose. So sometimes I have to swallow my pride and realize that I'm not the most entertaining thing. I know, it's shocking, right? But sometimes the way that I explain something to my kids is not the way that they need to receive it. And so sometimes if we are learning about a concept, this would mostly be for like our unit studies for science or history or geography, etc. Sometimes I can go on YouTube and find a kid-related video that has to do with whatever we're learning about. So obviously if you're going on YouTube, make sure you preview it first, because you never know what's on there. But if you feel comfortable showing your kids something, maybe you can find a concept that is explained in a really awesome way, a way that your kids can be excited about, that they're going to have fun with, especially if it has to do something with animals. There's lots of stuff on the internet about animals, and like awesome videos and great quality videos that you can watch, or history, or places around the world. Maybe if you're learning about a certain place around the world, you can find a video that has to do with that culture and what they eat and how they dress and what they do and what their homes look like or whatever, and just bringing it alive and bringing it into our century can really help just to inspire them, and they may really enjoy learning that way as opposed to you just like reading off of a piece of paper about that place or those people. I am not above a good bribe, okay? If it is Friday and, we are almost done and we worked hard and everything, I'm not against being like, okay, we're gonna get this done and then we're gonna go to the park, or we're gonna get this done and then we're gonna make brownies. No, I don't have a problem with making brownies on a Friday. Just something that can be exciting, something that could be a reward. Maybe you guys could do something fun on the weekend if you get through the week. Just thinking about ways that we can have positive reinforcement can be helpful when you're having a rough day. Sometimes if you've tried all these things and it's still not happening, at some point you gotta be like, hey, look, I'm the teacher and this is gonna happen now. This has gotta happen. And sometimes us as mamas, I know for my personality type especially, I can tend to just want everybody to get along, want everybody to be happy, want everybody to, have a peaceful atmosphere. But sometimes I have to know that I'm the parent and that I'm responsible for this child's education and that they need this and I have to give it to them. And so sometimes the problem is with me and just being too lax and just being like, oh, whatever, if you don't want to, you don't have to. And sometimes I have to change that and I have to be like, look, this is what's going to happen. We're going to do it now. And that's it. No argument. I just have to set down the law and say, this is what we're going to do. And I think that is obviously more of a me thing than a them thing. Sometimes it's not that they are struggling so much as that I just don't want to. I don't want to. And we all have those days where mama doesn't want to, teacher doesn't want to, we want a teacher day. And some days we need to take those days. I mean, obviously we have, depending on what state you live in, we have certain things that, we have to follow the guidelines set for us. But if you have been chugging along, you've been doing a great job, and you just have a really rough day, and you know that maybe it's just me, maybe I need a day off, maybe you need to take a day off. If it's within the parameters of what the rules are for you, for your state, or wherever you're homeschooling, maybe that's what you need. Maybe you need to say, you know what, we did what we did, and now we're gonna pack it up and we're gonna start again tomorrow. And I have those days too where I'm just like, okay, we did enough today, we will start where we left off tomorrow, and we'll start fresh, and we will feel better, and we'll have had a restful night because we're gonna get our night routine fixed or whatever. That's always a work in progress here. But maybe that's just what you need. Maybe you need just a teacher's day, and that's it. And so maybe thinking through these things can be helpful. So those are my tips, and I actually decided to kind of write them up in bullet points so that I can keep them with all of my other homeschool paperwork and have these like as reminders, because sometimes when you're in the moment, it can be hard to remember, okay, what are all those different ways that I can address this? And sometimes we can default to something that maybe isn't the most positive way to address the situation, or maybe not what's actually needed. And so if we have like a checklist, maybe it'll help us to kind of think more clearly in the moment. I know that's how I am. If I'm sick, it's hard for me to remember like any at-home remedies for whatever I'm sick with. So I have to like ask somebody, yeah, what do I do again when I have a cold? Because I can't think straight. So I'm going to create that printable and have it linked in the description box so that I can have it, so I have something to reference when we're having a rough day and be like, okay, did they eat? Did they play? Did they sleep? What are all the different things that I can look at? And I think it'll be helpful for me, and hopefully it'll be helpful for you too. So if you're interested, check out the description box. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. We talk about homeschooling, homemaking, and intentional living, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!